What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Cyrax and we're back with another Mortal Kombat video. So I thought that we could do a video about like kind of the changes of characters that I liked and disliked. We're not going to include the guest characters because obviously they're not part of Mortal Kombat. They're just here for the game. So we're just going to be pretty much just talk about the character changes for the main roster characters, including the Mortal Kombat DLC characters with Sector, Cyrax, Teada, and Quan Chi, you know, the rest of the DLC characters that were Mortal Kombat related, right? So we have three ways I'm going to classify characters. Those changes I liked, changes I was kind of like neutral to, and then changes that I really did not like for the characters. And there's quite a few for the negative one, and I'm going to explain why I don't like each change for the characters, because of maybe character changes from like older games, or like because like some of the characters are from the 3D era, so like I'm gonna directly kind of like represent it that way, and then for the characters that we know, like the more basic ones like Johnny Cage, stuff like that, we'll just kind of do it like as the most recent timeline. My nose is running. Okay, so we're gonna start off here. Like I said, there's three categories. You get things I like, things I'm neutral to, and things that I hate. I'm gonna do it, we're doing this in order though. So we're gonna start off with the things I liked and things I didn't, then neutral, and then hate, right? So to start, we have Synindell. Obviously, Synindell, personally for me, like when they changed her to be evil, and then like her whole change to her backstory in Mortal Kombat 11, that was like such, that pissed me off, bro. Because like I've been to like Synindell was like one of my favorite characters in from Mortal Kombat 3 to I would say like Deadly Deception. Was it Deception? All right, so that's like even in Armageddon I played her a little bit, but like that era, those era of games is like where I really like to play Synindell. And then in Mortal Kombat 11 I was playing her a lot as well, but I didn't really like the changes they made to Synindell with Mortal Kombat 11, so I was like really glad that they went back and switched her back to being a good guy. But then like I feel like every time she's a good guy, she ends up dying. She's like Kung Lao. Like these are the characters that always end up dying, bro. It doesn't matter. Like they won't change it to like Johnny Cage dying, which makes no sense. Like have a character that doesn't normally die. It would impact the story a lot more than just reusing the same characters over and over and over again. Because like how many times has Synindell been killed off? How many times has Kung Lao been killed off? Like Liu Kang. Like do somebody else that like hasn't really died. I feel like it would have made it more of a bigger impact in the story. Like what if like say Tanya would have died? Her being a good guy in this would have I felt had a lot of impact in the story, especially with Melina, because Melina and her obviously in love. Like that would have made a much bigger impact, I think, and it would have changed like Melina's demeanor. But you know, I'm just glad that they didn't make the change for making Synindell back to normal. And then we have Smoke. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this on neutral or a liked. I think I'm gonna go with I like the changes, bro, because like him having his powers being more related to a smoke like magic versus a smoke demon. Like while the demon is a cool, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense of why like the Enenra possessed specifically Thomas, and like they never really explained the backstory of it. So I don't know, like I feel it could be either or, but I think I'm gonna put positive, because I like how they kept the relationship between Kuai Liang and Tobias, not Tobias, Thomas. I think that it made a lot more sense why they were close from the jump in this timeline, just because they were raised to be brothers. So I actually really like that aspect of it, and it's interesting that Sub-Zero never really saw Smoke as his brother, because like even like in the story, like it just like Sub-Zero just like was always kind of like off-putting towards Smoke from what I remember about it. I haven't played the story in a while, but that's just kind of like what I remember from the story. So I don't know, I kind of like the changes, so we're gonna put that in the like category. And then we have Reptile, probably one of my favorite changes in the game. I really like how they kind of like moved Reptile away from being just a minion who gets used and abused by every bad in the actual series. I think this was a good change, and I like the fact that they made him into a good guy. Personally, his relationship with Astra is also like it's kind of really dope. Like I really like the changes. Like there are certain characters in this game that I felt they did a really good job with in terms of like the storytelling, and I think Reptile is one of those characters, because I like the way that his reasoning for fighting against Shang Tsung was because his family died, because Shang Tsung kills his family, and he's just a good-natured character in this timeline. I actually really like the way that they did Reptile. I think Reptile had like such a cool change. And then we have Ashura. Ashura, honestly, her story didn't really change that much. From what I remember, she's still trying to seek absolution from the Netherrealm. She's trying to cleanse her spirit. It's the same thing. It's the same story. They didn't really change much about Ashura, but I love Ashura. She's my favorite character in the game. So for me personally, like I really liked her. The only changes I think I personally didn't like was I don't like that there's no real interaction between Natara and Ashura in more of like a nemesis type of area, because considering the sword that she has, like there's a point in the story where Ashura does hit a Natara, and then she didn't make it like a little slide comment, but it wasn't really ever like anything other than monster hunting. It wasn't like, you know, this was a vampire, this is a sword that was meant to kill vampires. Like that's the whole point of the Datusha, and it drives his wielders mad because it looks at everything as evil, and like it doesn't really grant absolution from what I remember from Deception and Armageddon. The ending, like it's just like it actually controls the okay. So there's one change that I do like is that in the original timeline with I think it was Deception, Armageddon, during that period they had Ashura being possessed by the sword, because she becomes so obsessed with getting her absolution that it ends up being able to break hold of her, and she gets controlled by the weapon. In this timeline, it doesn't seem like that's the case. No matter how many times she uses it, it looks like that change was made, and I kind of like that, to be honest. I don't really know why that they had it. A weapon was able to overpower a demon. Which is crazy to me, because you would think they have crazy amounts of magic power, so a magic weapon shouldn't be able to control them. Like a vampire maybe, but like a demon from the Netherrealm, I don't know. It was just weird mind control. I feel like mind control wouldn't work as well on like a character like Ashura, but you know, it is what it is. I think they did it for just for the story. So I was like, okay, another character change that I really liked in this game was Li Mei, for sure, without a doubt. Li Mei, because I think Li Mei character had a much bigger part in the story, and I liked how tragic her backstory was in terms of her being set up for Jared to die, and her having a hard life after losing her place in the order, and her the monarchs kind of like just throwing her to the wolves, and like the royal family not caring about her anymore, even though she served with like integrity, and she served with discipline, and she was like just a really loyal person to Synindell. Even after Synindell cast her out, her loyalty remained intact. I really like how dutiful, and like how I really I just like the way that they presented Li Mei in this game. I think she and Reptile and probably Ashura are probably like my favorite characters in the game in terms of just the story. Because like even like another thing I like about Ashura too is like her personal, like she's like a child when they're doing certain parts of the scene, especially when it comes to like talking to Reptile, or when Liu Kang talks about letting her become a part of Earthrealm's warriors. Like she's genuinely happy. Like I really like that aspect of it. And then we have Kenshi. I kind of like Kenshi's backstory this time around too. His family being part of the Yakuza not by choice, but because they would have died out if not otherwise. And I really like just the whole backstory of his, and he's still the same character. He just has tattoos now, and he has a different kind of like just a different way of being brought up in the original timeline, where he was a sword master, and then like in this timeline, like he pretty much learns how to use this Sento. It's pretty much the same. After he loses his vision, he sees that his ancestors call to him and uses it. Like I just like the general change to his backstory with the Yakuza being like him being a beacon of hope for his people, I guess you would say. So I really like that change. Then we have Baraka. Baraka was another instance like Reptile, where I thought like they were minions for hire, like pretty much like they were just the muscle for a lot of the bad guys in the game. And like honestly, I really like him being a merchant in this timeline, and him basically, you know, like he's not a savage, you know what I mean? Like I feel like in the old MK11, like even then, like in that story, like he was thuggish, and like he didn't have no real like story outside of just like being the muscle. And then you have like Baraka in the story, where he had a family, he was a merchant before he got the Tarkat disease, and you know, even after he got the Tarkat disease, he's working with the government, pretty much the royalty, to help find the Tarkat a place in it. And while like, you know, he's a good guy in this timeline compared to like MK11 and before that, like where he was always like kind of like a bad guy. And I don't know. I kind of just like the changes to his backstory. I think it gives him more character development in terms of like the stuff that Baraka in the past just didn't have anything about him other than being a savage, I guess you would say, and just being a minion for hire. It's pretty much how I've always felt about Baraka. I thought he was very forgettable in the previous games, even though like, and I mean forgettable in terms of story, not his gameplay. His gameplay was fun. Like that's totally different. So then we have Garrus, who I like his changing. I like the changes to Garrus in this timeline, if I'm being honest. Like I like the whole dutiful, like being a friend that Liu Kang has throughout his whole kind of lifespan as being the keeper of time. It's a complete 360 flip from what he was in the original timeline. Because in the original timeline, like Chronica didn't treat him like crap. Like she didn't view Garrus as anything other than a tool. And like I like the idea of in this timeline Garrus helping Liu Kang and then having like this deep friendship and working with the keeper of time instead of working for, you know what I mean? I really like that idea, especially when you consider like Liu Kang wasn't born to be a keeper of time. It made sense to have Garrus come back and be like kind of almost like a guide to Liu Kang throughout. I feel like before the timeline existed and like them having that kind of great like friendship afterwards. Like I like the idea of Garrus just in that terms. So then we have Rain. So with Rain, I don't know, like I kind of was on the fence because I wanted to put it in neutral or light. But I like the fact that in this timeline he's not a demigod in this timeline. That's like one of the major changes. And like there's an intro that says it, like, you know, I used to be a god, I was a demigod in a different timeline, and like even though he does become a bad guy in this timeline, like after like in a lot of the intros and a lot of like his stuff, he feels regret in this timeline. Like he's not the same Rain that was powered by greed to seek the throne like in the previous versions, but in this version like Rain actually feels bad about what he did to the older realm. So like he's trying to seek redemption and stuff like that, even though all the characters are kind of like shunning him. Like I like the idea of Rain having that redemption arc maybe in the next game. That would be cool to see. So I think that's kind of what they're hinting at. That'd be interesting to see though. And then we have Melina. Melina was tough for me because yeah, she's a good guy in this timeline. I think I put her in like, so there were changes that made her better, but it made Katana worse. And we're gonna talk about Katana later because Katana is one of the characters I dislike in this game, and it's crazy because Katana is like one of my favorite female characters in the game. I'm gonna explain why I dislike her in the story and everything like that, and her character, the way that she's been changed. Like I like Melina in this game, especially with the connection with Tanya. I think that it builds her character out a little bit more. I like how like Tanya and Melina's relationship is in the game, because like for me with Melina, like her still retaining some of the savagery but also like getting what she wanted, like because in every game Melina just wanted Katana as a sister, like, and I feel like in the what you call it, I don't know, like I'm kind of indifferent about Melina character because like I like her character as a whole. Like her character kit is fun. Like I like her being the leader because like I feel like she's a lot more like Synindell than like Katana, because she rules firm, but she understands like she's not gonna just like be super strict about things without having a reason for it. And I feel like Katana in this timeline seems too soft. She seems too kind. She's not like the previous Katana, where Katana was a little bit she honestly, like I feel like Melina is very similar to how Katana was at mk1, if that makes sense, outside of when she's becoming like when she's a Tarkon, because obviously that's completely different. But you know, I don't know, I like her changes. I like her changes more than I hate the changes, so I'll put her in like. Okay, so I think that's it for the like category. The next category is gonna be the things I feel neutral about. I'm gonna be honest with you, like Sub-Zero I'm very neutral on, because I don't know if I like him or if I hate him in this one, because the thing is, like, I was kind of hoping they changed Sub-Zero's story a little bit from the previous timelines. They just kept it the same, but instead I don't know, because I felt like Sub-Zero in the past timeline was more neutral than leaning good or evil. You know what I mean? Because like even like in Mortal Kombat 9 story, bro, like when he was fighting Scorpion and he was like telling him like, dude, I didn't kill him, like I didn't kill your wife, that wasn't me. And he's like, yeah, granted he has like a rivalry with the Shirayum, that's the way he acts, but like if you're evil, even if you didn't do it, you would just say you did it, right? Like I feel like you wouldn't care, like personally. And I don't know, I just didn't see Sub-Zero as the evil character in the previous time. Like even in the mythologies, like if you go back and play mythologies game, you look through the story, it looked like there's a redemption arc in store for Sub-Zero, but he never gets it. Like he gets killed way before it happens. And like I thought in this timeline when they first revealed Sub-Zero that maybe they would have changed it, because I'm like, bro, like certain stories I feel like they just copy and pasted, while others they just changed a little bit. It wasn't like anything drastic compared to what I thought. Like at least not, it wasn't drastic until you get to the DLC characters. The DLC characters is where the drasticness gets changed, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I don't know. Like that's why I say I'm kind of neutral on it, because I really wanted Sub-Zero to have a change in his story, but it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. Sub-Zero just serves his role as being the Ice Cube character. Johnny Cage also, I'm neutral on, because they didn't really change his story that much. It's pretty much the same thing. Nothing really changes. Obviously Sonya's not in this timeline, so there's not really much character development going on. So, or if they're gonna keep that where he stays with Sonya, or maybe they change it with something else. I don't know how they're gonna go about adding Sonya to the game in the next game, because you know, Sonya's not missing 2 games. That's not happening. So she'll be in the next game. We'll see where they go from there. Quan Chi. See, I'm neutral on Quan Chi. Because honestly, on all the bad guys, they were more difficult for me to place, because I feel like while Quan Chi still learns his magic and everything like that, his backstory is much different compared to, cause like what's that? I think Quan Chi was from NetherRealm, and like they changed his story to him being from Outworld instead of the NetherRealm, which is weird to me, bro, because like I understand changing a character's alliance, but changing where they're born and which realm is, I thought was a bit much when it came to this game. And like I don't know how I feel about it, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, because like, and this is not even just for Quan Chi alone, this is for also what's his name, for Havoc's character. Like Havoc's character in total, like just his backstory is shit, bro. Like they completely shit the bed with Havoc, and we'll get into that, right? So you know, I don't know, like I'm kind of indifferent. He gets his powers and he still becomes the same Quan Chi that we know, so it's cool. I mean, they made him a little bit more spellcasty in this game than like I feel like previous games. Like MK9 he was a freaking brawler, but you know, it is what it is. I don't think like his changes weren't that much to where it was unrecognizable. Kung Lao's story pretty much is the same. He's the best friend to the main character. He does the same thing. Like there's nothing really changed. Like you just see him get his hat. Like I don't know. Like I feel like there's not really a huge change. Like initially when I first heard Mortal Kombat 1 was coming, I was hoping they would lean more towards Kung Lao becoming the Grand champion. But then all they did was replace Liu Kang with Raiden. They just swapped Raiden and Liu Kang's roles, which it was alright. But Kung Lao didn't have any real crazy changes to justify like even kind of like talking about it too much. And then we have Ermac. I don't know, like I think Ermac's pretty much the same, right? He isn't really different, because like I feel like in the previous timelines before MK11, like you know, even like what Deception, Ermac helps Liu Kang free his friends from the mind control that Onaga placed him under, right? So he kind of just goes back to being a good guy from like that timeline, versus like, you know, what they've been doing in the most recent ones where he's just a slave in all these multiple games. So they kind of kept him the same. They've always hinted at I feel like Jared becoming Ermac, and they kind of just pulled the trigger this game, but obviously it wasn't that long. It was just for the ending of the actual story, and then Ermac took control back of his body. So I mean, like that's what I say. I'm kind of neutral on Ermac, because Ermac's kind of like just reused the original timeline's Ermac story and just like changed little things. Like, you know, his fighting kit is actually a lot of fun though. I'm not gonna lie, I really like Ermac as a fighter. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for the neutral characters. And you'll notice there's a lot of characters I dislike in this game. And I'm gonna explain why. Like Noob Saibot, I honestly could put him in neutral, but the Chaos versus Dark, I don't know. We'll get into the Revenant versus the Chaos power, because it's just weird. Okay, so let's first start with Katana. This is the main one for me. Katana, I really hate Katana in this game just because her character is just so weird. It's like it almost doesn't fit, bro, because like she feels like a side character in the story. She feels like a side character throughout the entire game, and she only comes in, honestly, I feel like more for eye candy than anything, because I don't feel like she played any big role in any of the game, like in terms of the story. Like she's just the sister of the Empress. She's just the daughter of the Empress. Like she doesn't play a significant role in the story, which makes it weird because Katana is like the main focus of Outworld normally throughout every timeline, and in this one she's just non-existent in the story. And then like even when her interactions with Liu Kang is just weird, bro. Like there's nothing there. Like Liu Kang doesn't bat an eye at Katana, even though it's not the Katana he knows. Like it's just there's no. You would think that there would be some kind of interaction with them where like Liu Kang would kind of stumble a little bit in terms of like, you know, Katana. Like I don't know, like I really personally like her fighting. The way she fights is awesome, but like everything else about Katana character feels just weird to me. Like it feels weird. Like they changed her character so much to where she's just like, yeah, granted, like, you know, they gave her a little character build when her becoming the general of Outworld's army, but other than that, like I'm trying to remember in the story if there was a part where you really felt like Katana did something important, and it just, for me, it just doesn't feel that way. Like the only significant part is when Titan Katana comes. Titan Katana comes, Liu Kang and her have that moment, and then she helps the character. She helps the character by killing off what you call it, the combat kids, the alternate evil combat kids. That's what she does. But other than that, like I don't really feel like she had a significant role. Like I personally don't like the changes to her because she's supposed to be like the lead, like kind of like good guy with to Liu Kang, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird vibe I've gotten from this game. I never really liked, to be honest. Tanya, honestly, I could have put Tanya into either category, neutral, because I don't know. I personally don't like the changes to Tanya, if I'm being honest. And this is not even coming from a look standpoint. It's just her character. I don't like her being a good guy. Personally, I always like her being like the traitor, like not knowing if she's gonna betray you at what moment, when it's gonna happen. It's not even when it's gonna happen. Like I liked her role as that character because like I feel like having a female bad character before Chronica was Tanya. That's the role Tanya served. And like the new female bad character in this game was Natara, and she was terrible at it. And I might rant a little bit on Natara just because of how much I liked Natara in the previous timelines. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't really like Tanya's new change in the story. Personally, I like her people not knowing when she's gonna betray you, and her being a good character. I don't know, bro. I personally just don't like it. But you know, I'm sure people will feel differently about it. Obviously Shang Tsung being depowered and being, I don't know, like Shang Tsung, when you look at Mortal Kombat, like I feel like Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn are both like characters that are immediately recognized as like really strong bad guys, and the way they demasculated these two characters in this game was just horrible, bro. I understand declawing these threats, but like when they're not even really a threat in the game, and to be honest, like the whole game felt like I don't know. It never felt like the heroes were really in danger at all. If I'm being honest, there was no real stakes. Like I felt like even when the Soul Snatchers were up, like you didn't feel like you were losing or anything like that. I don't know, dude. It just felt weird. Like this story just didn't feel like there was any point where they were losing. Like even in Mortal Kombat 9, like you felt like they were losing, like during the war, then the invasion of Earthrealm from Outworld, like they were losing, they were getting their ass kicked, like people were dying all over the place. Cabal got captured and turned into like the Cabal we know. You had all the heroes die outside of like three or four of the hero characters, but they were all killed by Synindell. Like I felt like in this story there was no real change. Like they almost tried to replicate Mortal Kombat 9 with the evil Synindell coming and Dark Raiden and the other characters, but I don't know, bro. It never had I feel like it never had the stakes that it needed to have to make the game really mean anything personally. There's a lot of these bad guys in this game. I feel like I didn't really care for them because like even the same thing with Shao, like General Shao just got completely depowered and he doesn't even feel like a threat. His new look looks terrible. He looks like a baby face, like the horns on his head, like the changing of making Shao Kahn into this dragonkin. It just never made sense to me. Like since Mortal Kombat, what you call it? What was it? Mortal Kombat 10. I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 with the given the dragon features. I don't understand what their thing is about making him more dragon-like, and instead of him being a god, which is what his initial story was. But then that's more Dominic changing his story from being a god to just somebody with a really long life, which I think is stupid, bro. Because like the original lore made more sense of why he was been around for so long, how he conquered all the realms that he conquered, like Zaytera, all the other realms that like he pretty much captured and like made part of his realm. It made sense for him to be a god, a fallen god that fell, because like we already knew about Shinnok who fell, so it made sense that story made sense. But then turning him into a dragon, I personally never liked that. I thought it was a terrible change from when they first implemented it, but you know, that's more of a me thing. Then we have Rico. Rico's too loyal to Shao Kahn. I don't like it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like Rico being as loyal as he is to Shao Kahn. I liked Rico because he showed ambition. Like he knew he wanted to replace Shao Kahn, and like there were so many instances, like in Mortal Kombat 4, I think's ending, he had taken the crown of Shao Kahn or the helmet of Shao Kahn, and like there are multiple instances where he was leading, like in the comics of the MK1, where he was the main guy. Like him and Melina working together and stuff like that. Like I thought it was really cool, personally. But you know, it's just kind of like I said, I don't really like the changes for Rico. I think him being super loyal to Shao Kahn was a bad change. I don't like that he views him as like almost like a god type thing, or he's like the ultimate warrior to be like, you know, I don't like that personally, but you know, it's just me. Then we have Liu Kang. Liu Kang's character didn't really change too much in the story, so I'm not even gonna talk about that. It's more of his kit for me. I don't like the fact that they changed his bicycle kick and the flying kick as much as they did. The blue fire and the red fire is cool, or orange fire, whatever. But I don't know. I like seeing the normal bicycle kick, and that's like, this is just a me thing. Like obviously, I personally don't really like. I don't really like the way he fights in this game. I'm being honest with you. Like I've tried to use Liu Kang, but I'm not a fan, bro. I tried to use him so many times. I just don't like the way he combos. So I've kind of like not even used him in this game, outside of a few instances. Like I feel like MK11, I liked him a lot better. MK11 with the parries, with the way that he uses kicks. Like it was cool. It's not terrible in this game. I'm not a fan of him. And then like, you know, this timeline he created, the story that he's changed so much, and the fact that he gets beat up so much as a Titan, it's crazy, bro. But whatever. And like, it's not even like, the issue I have with him getting beat up so much is that he also has the power of a god mixed with Titan. So, sorry, I think that was an ad from the actual tier maker thing, but like, it's the fact that he gets beat up so much when he's stronger than other Titans, which is the thing for me, because like all the other Titans just became Titans. They didn't have an existing god's power within them, where Liu Kang is a god. Like he was a god before he became a Titan, so it's weird that he's able to get his ass beat. But like, I understand it's more about making the story go by further, but you know, it's just little things like that I'm not a real fan of. Like I wish Mortal Kombat has some kind of continuity, like where Liu Kang didn't get involved as much in these fights. Like I feel like Liu Kang gets involved a lot more than Raiden ever did in the past games. Like Raiden was always like a bystander, and then like once things got like too real, then he would get involved in the fight. But I feel like for the most part he wasn't really that involved in the fights, whereas Liu Kang is a lot more involved, and he's constantly just getting beat up by other Titans, which is crazy to me. But you know, it is what it is. So then we have Raiden's character. I was confused on whether, I almost thought he was going to be on a neutral list because of his character, but the butchering of Raiden in this game is crazy to me, because like Raiden went from being the Thunder God, like this crazy strong character, into being what he is in this game, which is basically just a grand champion who is forgettable. Like, I'll be honest with you, like he's very forgettable. Like after the tournament, he literally plays no big role in the story. Like you play the role of, oh, he comes from the farmer to being Earthrealm champion within a few months, which is crazy for in itself. Where Liu Kang in the original timeline had to study from a child to be a grand champion. Like the way the story is written, it's a little. I want to choke some people sometimes, bro, because like it don't make sense, bro. It don't make sense like how they go from being farmers, and like their thing was, oh, well, we were training you your whole life, but you were still a farmer. Like, come on, bro. Like, I don't know. This is a weird way of kind of making them into Earthrealm's champions, I guess you would say. But then like the actual after the tournament was over, and then like I feel like the other. When's the other scene that he plays a prominent role? And I feel like the only other scene I could think of is when they had that trio thing with Quan Chi and Shang Tsung as a callback to when they were fighting against Onaga. I think that was it. Other than that, he turned into a side character. I felt like he played no major role, and then like in Chaos Reigns, he just gets his ass beat. Like he's like not even in the story that much, because even when they go to Outworld on that sneak mission, Raiden is in there. He's sent somewhere else with Kung Lao. I mean, not with Kung Lao, but he's sent somewhere else. So I don't know. Like Raiden's character is kind of like just very odd in this game, I would say. Then we have Scorpion. Do I even have to say it? Like at this point, like if you guys have been a part of the channel for a while, you guys know how much I hate the changes to Scorpion. I really hate the change of Scorpion. I'm a big ass fan of Scorpion. Hanzo Hasashi was my favorite character since like the inception of Mortal Kombat. Like him and Liu Kang have always been like this, and then Kung Lao came into the fold, and like Scorpion's character changes in this game are just horrible. Like they're bad. Like there's nothing redeeming about this. Like him having Hellfire makes no sense, because Hellfire was only attained after Scorpion became Revenant. So like him having fire abilities immediately makes no sense. First of all, he's born from a family of cryomancers. It literally makes no sense. They explained this. They did not explain this at all. They just gave him the power for the sake of him being Scorpion. It's like, okay, let's make this character Scorpion, just give him the fire ability without him having any reason to have Hellfire. It doesn't make sense, bro. Like Scorpion's character in this game just pisses me off every time I think about it, bro, because it makes zero sense. He went through no real issues for him to in the story. Like the only main issue I think he did was his dad dying and Sub-Zero letting him, and then him and Sub-Zero just fight for the sake of fighting. Like I don't know, bro. Scorpion's character in this game I really hate, but not as much as I hate Natara's character in this game. I hate her character in this game. She has been butchered, bro. They butchered the hell out of Natara in this game. It's unforgivable what they did to Natara in this game, bro, because if you played the older games, if you played Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance in particular, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance made her character so freaking cool, bro, and they just had to shit on her in this game. Like she was never a minion. She never served anyone. She literally manipulated Reptile. She manipulated Cyrax to get what she wanted, and which was to get the orb that pretty much was like an anchor for her realm in Outworld. So she used Sector and she used Reptile, but she did give them what they want. Like don't get that twisted. Like she was neutral, but at the same time she literally, if you did what she wanted, she would reward you for it. So like with Reptile, like she gave the location of Katana's Outworld base, and then with Cyrax, after Cyrax retrieved the orb in the molten lava pit, she sent him back to Earthrealm. Like if she got what she wanted, she gave the person what she wanted. Like she was a strong female lead. She was a strong female lead character, like, which is why I liked her so much. And I really like the goth kind of like vampire vibe that they gave her in that game. And I feel like in this game, I don't know, she's so freaking, her character sucks, bro. It just sucks, dude. It sucks, bro, because she's just a whiny character. Like she says she's serving Eternus, but she's serving Quan Chi. Like her character is so freaking boring in this game, bro. Her gameplay is fun, but the character itself, horrible. The voice acting, come on, do we even have to talk about that? The voice acting was horrible, bro. Like I don't know what, I get, you know, wanting to get Megan Fox, because Megan Fox is a very pretty girl, but at the same time it's like, bro, she can't voice act, bro. She cannot voice act. I thought Ronda Rousey was bad, bro. she makes Ronda Rousey look like an award-winning voice actor. The way that she was speaking in this game was crazy. But anyways, I really, really hate Natara in this game. I really hate her character. They butchered her. And I feel like even in Armageddon, like in MK Secrets, they talked about how she was helping, you know, build her clan, and then like she had to fight off Ashura because Ashura at the time was possessed by the sword. So like if you know the backstory of the Tusha is a sword meant to kill vampires and dark beings, but it was mainly, I think it was mainly for vampires. So, and it was never, I think in the original story it was never gonna give absolution to Natara. It was like a lie. I think that's what it was. So then we have Havoc. Havoc's gameplay is fun. Let's get that out the way. Havoc is a very dope character, but one of the changes I really don't like is why the hell. Okay, there's two major changes. One, he was born in the Order realm. Chaos realm doesn't exist in this timeline for some reason. Another change by Liu Kang, it just doesn't make any damn sense. Tanya and Chaos realm not existing in this timeline is freaking weird, but whatever. And then we have the fact that he's not even Havoc. He's Dairu. What? Like, why the hell is Dairu Havoc in this timeline? Like, it don't make sense, bro. Like, like what? Like, I still don't get, like, after hearing that in the intro, I was like, bro, there's no way they made him Dairu. Like, it just doesn't make sense, bro. I feel like Dairu wasn't even, like, he was one of those characters that people didn't like. I felt like, next to Suhao and, you know, some of the other characters that were like kind of like cringy, and like I feel like Dairu was that character. So why the hell would you bring him in this game and trying to just make him into Havoc? I don't know, bro. Like, some of the changes they made in this game is fucking stupid. My main issue with Teada is not even his gameplay. His gameplay is fun. I love Teada's gameplay. Like, it's super fun. It's the backstory for me. Him going from being Kenshi's son to going to be Kenshi's cousin never made sense. Like, why do some of these changes happen? Like, okay, personally, if some of the changes I can like slide if it makes sense for the story, but this is just weird, bro. You can't turn someone's son into their cousin. Like, you can't. There's literally no the genetics in itself. I'm not even like a scientist or anything like that, but like I feel like that's impossible because we got Suchen and Kenshi in this timeline. That's how Teada was made. He wasn't. It don't make sense to why Teada is a cousin in this timeline, and I don't understand this change. And like, they don't explain how this could have happened, and like, I feel like there's no way to explain it. You just changing something to change it. Like, bro, you could have just made Teada be from a different timeline, or he was from the original timeline and he escaped somehow through the help of Fujin or something. I don't freaking know. Like, Fujin didn't have some kind of relationship in the comics, so it wouldn't make sense. It would make sense if he somehow got escaped that timeline and was there. Like, why the hell would you change him from being a son to being his cousin, bro? Like, Kenshi and Teada's relationship was so dope in MKX, and like, you just completely shitted on that and just completely changed his whole being. Because like, this change of making Teada into the cousin instead of the son, it's not even just gonna impact Kenshi. When they bring back Jackie, how is this gonna make sense? Like, how is this gonna make sense, bro? Because Jackie and Kenshi are a couple. That's their fiance. They were about to get married, and then you change to be a cousin. By the time Jackie comes in the timeline, Teada is gonna be like 50. Like, there's gonna be no way to present this unless they somehow make Jackie a cousin of Jax. God forbid. Dude, I don't understand what they're thinking with some of these story changes, bro. It just doesn't make sense. Obviously, Cyrax and Sector, I'll bundle these two together because like, I feel like people hate it for the same reason. Personally, when it comes to Cyrax is pretty much the same character she's always they've always been, outside of the change to gender swapping character. Personally, I don't hate the change as much as other people because I'm just happy to have Cyrax and Sector back in the game. But I would have preferred the robot versions of them. Like, if you were gonna make them into the game, like this the cyborg looking thing that they've been made into. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan, and I know this is the first step. Like, they've mentioned it in the game that this is not the actual cyberization. This is just like Iron Man suits, pretty much. So I'm fine with Cyrax. Cyrax becoming a part of the Shira Ryu was actually cool. I think, you know, there's certain things that I would change. So I'll put, you know, I'll put Cyrax in neutral. I'm neutral about this because I'm not sure if I like it or hate it, because I can find things I like about it. I can't find too many things I hate about it, so we'll put her in neutral. Okay, so then we have Sector. Personally, I love Sector. Fighting, I don't know. I don't hate Sector. I'm almost like wanting to put Sector in characters I like, personally, because I liked her character in the story, because I feel like Sector hasn't really changed that much, because like even the original timeline, I felt like Sector had a great respect for Sub-Zero, the original Sub-Zero, not Kuai Liang. They had a mutual respect because of like how like Sub-Zero was like the best assassin in the clan, so I felt like Sector had a lot of respect for Sub-Zero in that aspect. All they did was change that respect from, you know, obviously when he was a guy, and then when he became a girl, it was more about like the love interest. I kind of like that kind of aspect of it, especially with her being a female. Personally, I know a lot of people hate the changes for this, and like I said, I'm not like for it. But I'm not against it either. I just wanted to see the characters come back in some form. It sucks that they never made like actual skin where they were the male robots. That would have been cool. They made it for the freaking the cameos, which I thought was a weird move. I felt like it would have been better if they made them for the actual main rosters, because I felt like that would have solved a lot of people's like kind of grief with the characters. But you know, to each their own. I'm not gonna sit here to complain about it too much. Noob. See, I have a hard time kind of thinking of how I feel about him, because I feel like I like Noob's gameplay, but there's a lot I dislike about the way he was presented in the story, and this is more of just like his anger hasn't dissipated at all. You know what I mean? Because like I felt like when Noob Saibot came into the fold after the original Sub-Zero died, he had a different personality. He never felt the same feelings that Sub-Zero felt, because he's a different character entirely. But in this one, not only was he not a revenant in this timeline, he was controlled by chaos. He got his power through chaos. And then on top of that, Liu Kang was able to bring his memories and his previous self within this new body, so his anger didn't dissipate. If anything, I think his anger got worse in this, and when he became Noob Saibot, it was like his negative emotions got amplified further. And like the main issue I have with Noob Saibot is him being able to defeat Havoc in the end of the story. And like this is more of just like my own issue. Like I feel like I'm probably in a minority with the way that Noob Saibot presented at the end fight, because like he couldn't even defeat Titan Havoc when he was Sub-Zero, but then he gets like a little bit of chaos powers, and that should be enough to be able to topple a god. I feel like if you're giving a minion power, you're not going to give him enough power to overthrow you, right? So like for me, it's interesting how it kind of worked, and they said that like, oh, he had the information of how he fought, but okay, that's fine. If you want to do it that route, that's fine. If you just want to have him be a Titan. But this is the thing is, Havoc was also empowered by the Kami Dogu, and like if you guys know anything about the Kami Dogu, they're reality bending relics. They're basically the infinity stones of the Mortal Kombat universe. So him, Titan Havoc, should have been way stronger than anybody, and even he was stronger than Garrus. He was stronger than Liu Kang, and at this point he was the strongest being. Like there was nobody that could really fight with him. The only way you could fight him is by you have to take care of the Kami Dogu first before you can actually beat him. And then they just made it so that Noob Saibot beat almost like a ridiculously strong Havoc at that point. It didn't, and this is not Havoc Dairo. This is Havoc from the OG timeline. Like it just never made sense to me, and I feel like whenever I talk to some people about this, like they look at me like I'm fucking weird. I'm just like, bro, you do not understand how this works. Like in terms of like lore and the way the story is presented, I don't care if you're progressing the story. This doesn't make sense. It don't make sense for him to be able to be defeated by Noob Saibot, because Noob Saibot is not that strong in the grand scheme of things, when he couldn't even break free from the time power that Garrus had. Like Garrett snapped him and he's stopped in time. He can't do nothing. But you could somehow defeat somebody who has all of the freaking Kamidogu while also being a Titan in their realm. Like I don't know, bro. I didn't like it, bro. I really didn't like it. Like I didn't like that ending, bro. If I'm being honest, like that's just a me thing. Like I said, I'm sure other people feel differently about that, but with Noob Saibot, I feel like they could have done better with that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like they could have done something better. But I guess they didn't want to go the route where they have Liu Kang defeat the Titan again because he's a Titan. But I'm just like, when you bring other Titans into this timeline, you have to have him defeat them because mortals can't defeat Titans. Like, let's be honest. The whole reason why Kronika never lost was because Liu Kang and Raiden never worked together. That was the whole point of Mortal Kombat 11, that they lost in every timeline because they were at odds with each other. They never worked together. That was the point of the whole Mortal Kombat 11 story. So when we get into this story, fast forward, you got Titans who's lived for eons at this point. This is not like these Titans just became Titans. No. It's been eons. Like Katana is at least over 10,000 years old in the story already, period, because they're back in the modern era. So it doesn't make sense for them to be defeated by a character who literally just got his chaos powers, doesn't have there's so much shit about the story that pisses me off, and that's why, like, I'm trying not to rant too much on this, but at the same time, it's just like, bro, come on, this doesn't make sense, bro. And like, I know people will eat it because it's Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, but I love Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is like my favorite fighting game franchise. It's always been. I played it since I was like freaking 5 years old. Like, but I don't like the changes that they made, and like this is why like I have such a big problem with the story, because the story just doesn't make sense for certain things, like characters changing from where they're born to characters who their parents are. Like, I never really liked it. But anyways, I kind of just wanted to make this video because I feel like you know, I wanted to talk about like some things about Mortal Kombat 1 that were like gameplay related and more just, you know, stuff that I like, dislike, and stuff like that. If you guys want to see more like videos like this where I'm talking about like other aspects of Mortal Kombat 1 outside of like gameplay and stuff like that, let me know. Like if you guys have any ideas of stuff you would like to see, put it in the comment section below, and we'll go around and we'll end up doing something like that. But I just wanted to get on here and just make a Mortal Kombat video because, like, bro, I want to talk about Mortal Kombat, but I don't know what to talk about, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I don't post a lot of gameplay clips on here. Like, I could do that, but I feel like, I don't know, it's up to you guys what you guys want to see going forward with Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna keep placing, if I have an idea for a Mortal Kombat video, I'm gonna make it. But like, I don't want to just like post Mortal Kombat videos to post like every single day, because like there's only so much I can talk about that's gonna be entertaining for you guys outside of this. I don't want people to feel like I'm making this Mortal Kombat videos for the sake of making it. Like, I want people to, like, you know, come here and enjoy the content of this. I don't want to just be spewing content out to spew content out. Like, I feel like that's ungenuine, and I don't want to do that. I want to be more authentic with this channel. I've always strived to be more authentic with the channel. So let me know what you guys want to see on the channel. If you guys want to see something in particular for a Mortal Kombat video, just let me know. I'll start making something like that, and we'll go forward from here. Cause like hold on, let me change this. Okay, so like I said, this channel was always meant to. I had built a channel for Mortal Kombat 1, and I didn't think Mortal Kombat was gonna go out this fast. I'm gonna be honest with you. So like I said, I've been putting out other game stuff, and then I'm gonna start covering other stuff like Mudang. The Two Hearts looks like a dope game. If you like Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon, it kind of looks like a mix of the two. Animo, when it comes out, we're gonna talk about that. Animo and Marvel Token hasn't really released a lot of like videos and stuff like that, so it's not really much to talk about there. I've been posting a lot about Invincible Versus because I feel like it's the closest thing to Mortal Kombat we're probably gonna get for a bit. Invincible Versus, and it looks pretty fun. Like, I really hope that game is successful, because like if it ends up becoming successful, that would be great for Mortal Kombat, because I feel like with Mortal Kombat in particular, there's no game that pushes it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Mortal Kombat's lost its edge because there's nothing really challenges it in terms of like of the same kind of fighting game genre. Because I mean, you got Street Fighter and Tekken, but those are very different type fighters. So like when it comes to like, I feel like the violent, gory fighters, like we used to have Killer Instinct. Like, I feel like, you know, Mortal Kombat took a lot of the stuff that Killer Instinct did, and they created new type things like brutalities, like finishers, all that stuff. Like, you know, there was things that they built upon. Like, I feel like Mortal Kombat not having anything to push it is an issue, because I feel like there's not any real change going on with Mortal Kombat outside of just the fighting game systems and stuff like that. So it creates a state of like where it doesn't need to change, it doesn't need to adapt, it doesn't need to push it. I feel like Mortal Kombat's not pushing any real envelopes here. And like I said in the previous game, in previous videos, I think Mortal Kombat should become a legacy fighter. That way, you know, you already have the fight the way people fight. Because I feel like Mortal Kombat 1 did a great job with the combo system. Just keep that combo system, take out cameos, make it 1v1, and just build outside of that. Have more mini games, have more PvE content, have a lot more stuff for people to do, so people aren't getting bored and moving on super quick. And like, be better with the balance changes. Don't just change a character because, oh, people are complaining he's too difficult to fight against or he's broken. Like, make the other characters better. Like, this is the simple. Stop making so it's only like 2, 3, 4 characters are good in the game. If you have a roster of 23 characters, at least half of those characters should be good enough to be able to challenge other characters. Mortal Kombat needs to do a lot to, in this next game, like, that's why I'm almost like, even though I'm not a big fan of Injustice, I'm almost hoping they make an Injustice game so these people can just take a step back from Mortal Kombat and just think about what they're gonna do next. Bro, because like, honestly, you can't have 3 games like this, like back to back to back, where it's just not where it should be. Like MK8 and MK9 were great games, and then I feel like MK11 had the potential to be a great game, but personally for me, the fighting games, the way it fought is different. But even then, like, I still enjoy the fighting game, the way it fights, but I wasn't a huge fan. I didn't hate it like other people did, but you know, personally, I like the art style of Mortal Kombat 11. I wish they would have stuck with that and just built upon it a little bit. Although I do like the MK1's look too, but dude, the characters in Mortal Kombat 11, I like that realism type of look. It looked great, especially with Katana and Liu Kang. I really like the facial expressions and stuff that they did with those games. But I'm yapping at this point. But yeah, like, you know, I want to make more Mortal Kombat content, but it might get slower just because obviously there's no news going on. The closest thing to news we're gonna have is Mortal Kombat Collections Edition, and I will be playing that for sure, especially Mortal Kombat 3. If they have trilogy on that, I'm playing the shit out of that. Mortal Kombat 4, I loved Mortal Kombat 4 too. Mortal Kombat 4 was fun. Even though a lot of people didn't like the game, I feel like I heard like a lot of people didn't like the game personally, but I could have been rumors. I don't know. How you guys feel about that? You know, maybe we'll talk about the collected. We'll make it. Okay, we'll probably do a next video where we talk about what games we think will be in the Mortal Kombat collections, because they said that there's going to be more than the ones that they showed. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll see. Like I said, if you guys have any ideas you guys want to see for more Mortal Kombat videos, let's talk about it, and let's just see where the community is at this point, because like, there's got to be something you guys want to see. And like I said, I don't want to make videos to the point where you guys feel like I'm just trying to milk content for Mortal Kombat, because that's not what this is. Like, the channel initially started as a Mortal Kombat channel, but I think it's gonna start growing outside of that as well, especially with this huge like gap in between games. Like, you know, my main focus will always be the fighters, because I love fighting games. Fighting games are like my favorite, especially like if Mortal Kombat 9 came out and I had created a channel back then, I really wish I did, bro. Cause Mortal Kombat 9 was my favorite game. I played that game for like 8 hours every day after work. Like, it was really bad. It was really unhealthy, but it is what it is. When there's a really good fighting game and I really enjoy it, like I'm on that all day. But anyways, guys, this video is already like 53 minutes long. I'm sorry it's so long, but like, you know, I wanted to talk about something in length about like how it felt about like the characters in the story and stuff like that, and I never really felt like I covered it. So I thought we'd do that today in the form of you know, just a tier list. But anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know you guys thoughts on how you guys feel about the characters. Let me know if you guys want to see any other kind of videos related to Mortal Kombat or anything in general. Like, I wasn't even thinking about doing some, like, you know, trying to live since other type of content outside of that. It's just kind of expanding a little bit of what's going on with me, because I'm starting to stream more on Twitch again, so we'll see. I might even start streaming here on YouTube, because personally, like, I don't know, like, Twitch, I really don't like discoverability on Twitch, and I feel like, you know, no one sees my streams and stuff like that. So like outside, like I have to post it here for people to see there, because I'm like, I already have the channel here on YouTube. So I was thinking about maybe streaming a little bit more on YouTube versus Twitch, but you know, I gotta see how it works. Like the only time I've ever streamed on here was during the Combat Cast. So I don't know. Let's see. I'll let you guys let me know what you guys want to see. But I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Peace.
Yeah.